Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om, everyone. Hari Om to those who are joining us online. If you can turn your video on, that would be good, so I can see all of you. But if you can't for some reason, that's okay too. So in this short series of discourses, we'll try to reflect upon one text by Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji, which is called Dhanyashtakam. All of us know that there are three main categories of texts that are there, right? What we otherwise call as Prasthanatrayi. The first Prasthanatrayi is Upanishad, second is Brahma Sutra, third is Bhagavad Gita. So it is said, if you want to get a good hold over Vedanta, what should we study? Study Prasthanatrayi. And if we have grace and blessings of Guru Parampara, study it with Bhashya. That is the beauty of it. You get a very thorough hold of what is Vedanta trying to tell us. But to enter Prasthanatrayi is not easy. Means one cannot directly start studying Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita. So our Acharyas, they were very compassionate. They came up with separate compositions which is called as Prakarana Grantha. Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita and Prakarana Grantha. So Prakarana Grantha doesn't cover all aspects of Vedanta. It doesn't cover all aspects of Shastra. So it is said in Shastra there are 9, different aspects which should be covered. I mean, there should be a student. What is the qualification of a student? Going to a teacher, listening to that knowledge, Mahavakya Vichara, doubts. So there are several aspects which has to be covered in a Shastra. But in Prakarana Grantha, only one part will be taken. And that part will be elaborated. Okay, that is what makes it a Prakarana Grantha. Shastra Ekadesha Sambandham. Means out of the 9 topics in Shastra, only one part is taken up. Shastra Karyantari Sthitam, but it is another composition. You cannot say if there are 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2 is Prakaranam of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it is part of Shastra, it has to be separately composed. Ahuhu Prakaranam Nama Grantha Vedo Vipaschitaha. Mahatmas, they say this is called as Prakarana Grantha. So that is the beauty of it. Now, which Prakarana Granthas have we studied? Several of them, right? You take Bhajagovindam for example. So Bhajagovindam is Prakarana Grantha. So what is the main topic of Bhajagovindam? Dosha Drushti. How to get Vairagya, how to get a different perspective. A Mahavakya Vichara is not done in Bhajagovindam. Now there is a text called Vakya Vritti. Around 50 shlokas are there, only talking about Mahavakya Vichara. Now Vivek Chudamani is there. Vivek Chudamani is mainly about Tvam Pada Vichara. How to separate Atma from Anatma. So that is Viveka Chudamani. Like this, different texts, they have their own uniqueness. So the text we are going to study is called Dhanyashtakam. Now what is the uniqueness of Dhanyashtakam? Why is it a Prakarana Grantha? It is Prakarana Grantha because this text is talking about what does it mean to be truly blessed. Dhanya Ashtakam. So Dhanyata, what is the Swarupa of Dhanyata? That elaboration will be done in this text. If somebody uses glass of water, what do we say in Hindi to them? Dhanyavadaha. So what is so dhanya about it? We say this was something which I needed very badly and you went out of your way to get it for me. Right? If somebody gives a scholarship to a student, the student acknowledges back, right, and says Dhanyavadaha. So this dhanyata is a feeling of gratitude. That somebody has done something for us which has filled us so much with joy in life. Expression of that joy back to the person who gave. That is this dhanyata. Okay. Now in spiritual path, what is absolute blessedness? Right? So who is the best person who can tell us this? Only the person who has felt that blessedness, one who has reached there, and one who is an authentic source to tell. There cannot be any other authentic source than Bhagwan Shankaracharya-ji. Authentic source is called as Aptavakya in Sanskrit. Aptavakya means we don't believe anybody and everybody's statement. Right? It has to come from an Apta Purusha. That word has power. Sisters and brothers of America. Vivekananda saying it has a separate power, and a common person saying it has, it's another effect. So the thing is, Aptavakya. What is the authentic source? What could be a better authentic source than Bhagwan Shankaracharya-ji to tell us about what is dhanyata? Now Bhagwan Shankaracharya-ji, it is said, if you search his mind, what will you find? You will find Upanishad, you will find Bhagavad Gita, all other Puranas, and also several other Vedantic topics. Which shloka is this? Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Shruti means Upanishad, Smruti means all other texts which are composed. Like Bhagavad Gita is Smruti. Itihasa is history, but Smruti is all other texts which are composed by an individual. So if you search Bhagwan Shankaracharya's mind, he says you will only find Shruti, you will find Smruti. They have found a home in Bhagwan Shankaracharya's mind. During Shankar Jayanti time, we had one project where we said, let us just explore Bhagwan Shankaracharya's work. What all things he has done. Just the names. We cannot go into the content because it will take several lives. He has composed 30 plus Prakarana Granthas. 30 plus Prakarana Granthas. 65 plus Stotrams. What we are familiar with is, few Stotrams that he has composed. Dakshinamurti Stotram, But like that he has composed 65 plus Stotrams. And written Bhashya on Brahma Sutra, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, Sanat Sujatiya. All these texts he has written elaborate Bhashya. Hastamalaka Sotram also, Hastamalakiyam Bhashya is written by Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. If he is telling us what is Dhanyata, we should pay attention. Because somebody like Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is giving us the essence of what does it mean to be blessed. That is why this introduction, why are we looking at Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. Okay, so Prakarana Grantha we saw, what is Dhanyata we saw, and we saw who is the one who is composing this text. Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji. Now our Shastra, they have a very unique way of classifying things. And that classification is not to judge anybody. That classification is only to help us understand what is the spectrum, from where you can start and to where we can go. So even to understand what is Dhanyata, they say we should understand what are the types of people who perceive Dhanyata in different ways. So in our Shastra they said, you take any jiva, you take all jivas put together, they will fall only under 4 categories. These Upanishad Rishis, they were so good at classifying things. You give them whatever you want, they will classify into categories. And it will be so precise, you cannot go here and there. That category that they make is very, very precise. So they said, jivas can be classified only in 4 categories. First category is Pamara. Pamara means what? Somebody who doesn't care about any rules. If desire is there, they will do whatever it takes to fulfill that desire. Now again, this is not to judge. It is just to appreciate that different type of people are there in this world. So somebody like Ravana, if you read Ramayana, whatever thought comes to his mind, he goes and fulfills it. He feels like he should have Pushpaka Vimana, goes and brings from Kubera. So that is first category, Pamaraha. Okay. So now for each category we will see what is Dhanyata according to them. Second category is Vishai. First is Pamara, second is Vishai. Now Vishai is somebody who has desires, but he will work hard to fulfill that desire. He will not cut corners, but desire is there. He will fulfill that desire by working hard. Okay. First one was Pamaraha. It doesn't matter what rules, what effort. If desire is there, hook or crook, they will fulfill it. But Vishai, he does satkarma. He does the right kind of karma and fulfills his desire. Third category is sadhaka. It's a fine difference between satkarmi and sadhaka. Now sadhaka is somebody who not only does satkarma, but he offers it to Bhagavan. He is a karma yogi, where he says, Bhagavan, all of this karma which I am doing is not only to fulfill my desire, I want to do this karma to please you. That is the third category, who is a sadhaka. And Bhagavan says, if somebody has lived a life in this way, done, lot of sadhana, lived a dharmic life, in them I will bring this desire for knowledge. Goswamiji only says it. Dharmate birati jogate jnana. If somebody has lived a dharmic life, what is the result of it? This result of it is birati. Birati means whatever Bhagavan has blessed us with, there is a thought which says there is something more than this. That is a quest for knowledge. That is the third category, who are sadhakas. Okay, first one was Pamara. Second was Vishai. Third was Sadhaka. Fourth one is Siddha. So somebody who went to study this knowledge, somebody who has systematically done several years of tapasya and understood this knowledge, that is a four category of jiva only, called as Siddha. Somebody like Taponji Maharaj, Pujya Gurudev, Raman Maharshi ji. Right? They also have gone through a journey, but have reached a point. Okay. Now each one has their own definition of dhanyata. Okay, dhanyata means feeling blessed. What does Pamara think of blessedness? Wherever they cut corners, and if they are not caught, he says, I am dhanya. From airport here to there, if he has brought something and he did not get caught, he says, I am so blessed, I did not get caught. Now, dhanyata definition varies according to different stage of jiva. Second was Vishai. Now, Vishai feels dhanya whenever his desires are fulfilled. He says, I was seeking this, and through hard work, I fulfilled it. Vishai does not bring Bhagwan into the picture. Vishai thinks, I have put my effort, I will get the result. Why is Bhagwan needed in between? So he feels dhanya whenever his desires are fulfilled. It could be material desires only. He asked for some position, asked for something to, happen in life. Asked for a location, that I want to move from here to there. And let us say everything moved, worked out. He'll say, see, I had planned everything well, and now it is so good that everything was according to how I wanted. He feels dhanya with that. Now third one was sadhaka. Sadhaka feels dhanya when he gets satsang. When he gets satsang, when he is able to do more sincere sadhana. Right? Because he says, I have been struggling so hard to bring small little changes in my life, but if for some reason those changes have come, mind has become less anxious. He says that sadhaka is dhanya. Now one is he himself feels dhanya, but in some places the teacher tells the student, you are dhanya. Okay. You have studied Vivek Chudamani. where the student comes to the teacher and the first thing the teacher says is Dhanyosi Krutakrityosi Pavitam te kulam tvaya. You are Dhanya and you have purified your entire lineage. Pavitam te kulam tvaya. Yada vidya bandha muktya brahmi bhavitum ichchasi. By removing this avidya, you are wanting to abide in that absolute Brahma. That is why you are Dhanya. Your question itself is so, pure and it is so precise. Meaning to get this question that I have to come out of this finitude. That itself is great Dhanyata. That is the teacher telling the student, you are Dhanya. Now there is another example over here. This is in Ramcharitmanas. I don't know if you are familiar with the story of Sati ji to Parvati ji. How Sati ji is there in the beginning and she has a lot of doubts and she ends up giving up her physical body in Daksha's yajna, becomes Parvati ji. And then she comes back and asks the same question to Bhagwan Shiva. He says, who is Bhagwan Rama? I want to know his nature. And then Lord Shiva, he tells Parvati ji, Dhanya Dhanya Giri Rajakumari. You are really Dhanya because you have asked this question about Bhagwan's nature. In Vedanta they will say, one should inquire into Atma. Atma va are drashtavyah, shrotavyah, mantavyah, nididhyasitavyah. In devotional texts they will say, one should inquire into nature of Bhagwan. Both are the same. You either start from Bhakti Marga and reach Shuddha Chaitanya, or you start from Vedanta Marga and reach Shuddha Chaitanya. Right? Chaitanya is a substratum of Jiva. Chaitanya is a substratum of Ishvara also. Both are going to make us reach the same point. When we were studying in the course, there were students coming from all over the place, right? So there were few students from out of India. They had never seen Bhagwan's form, never seen Vigraha of Bhagwan. So when Puja Guruji was there once, one student asked Guruji that in the evening I see all my other brahmacharis standing in front of Ganesh Bhagwan and praying so fervently, something they are praying. I find it very difficult, that brahmachari said, because I have never seen Vigraha of Bhagwan. Form of Bhagwan I have never seen. We don't have prayer as, one of the inbuilt thing in our religion. So Guruji said, you enjoy Vedanta, right? So just study Vedanta. Don't worry about Saguna Bhakti right now. Just study Panchakosha, three avasthas, Atmanatma Viveka. Do that very, sincerely. Result of that is we will become devotees. If somebody has thoroughly understood Vedanta, they will become bhaktas. And if somebody is starting with bhakti, Bhagwan says, to bring Vedanta is my responsibility. Right? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Those who take Bhagwan's name, Bhagwan says, I will bring teacher, I will bring qualifications also. I will take care of Yogakshema also. You don't have to worry about anything. So that is a third Dhanyata. Sadhaka feels, I am Dhanya. Puja Guruji has given several indicators of what is Dhanyata. And last one Guruji gives is, when Vibhishanji, this is Kumbhakarna. In the war time, Kumbhakarna is sleeping. Vibhishanji comes and wakes up Kumbhakarna. The first line that Kumbhakarna says to Vibhishanji is, Dhanya Dhanyate Dhanya Vibhishana. Dhanyata only, he is telling Vibhishana, you are so Dhanya. Why? Because you have decided to find the right master. What is Shubhecha? Shubhecha means auspicious desire. that auspicious desire has come in you that I cannot, always keep serving Ravana. I have a higher altar to serve, that is Bhagavan Rama. So Kumbhakarna tells Vibhishanji, you are Dhanya, you have purified our entire lineage. So all these are indicators of Sadhaka. They also feel Dhanyata, that is in this way. What was the last category? Siddha. Siddha Mahatmas, their Dhanyata is reveling in this knowledge. They have achieved what they had to achieve, the absolute bliss which all of us are seeking. Having reveled in that, they experience the supreme-most Dhanyata. And for them, they themselves sometimes might not claim it. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya points out, what is this supreme blessedness? So in this text, the third category of blessedness and the fourth category of blessedness, only those two will be highlighted. We are not looking for Pamara and Vishai, because it is very well known, we don't have to do separate discussion on that. But how to become blessed as a sadhaka and how to make our way to the supreme most blessedness, that will be described in this text. Okay. What did we see so far? What is Prakarana Grantha? Who is, the composer of Dhanyashtakam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji? His greatness. If he is explaining about Dhanyata, that is keeping all these texts in mind. Shruti, Smriti, Purana, everything. And then we saw 4 types of jivas. Pamara, Vishayi, Sadhaka, Siddha. Each one has their own definitions of Dhanyata. Okay, and in this text, Dhanyata will be mainly for Sadhaka and Siddha. Means Bhagavan will show us what is the path and what is the goal. Right? As a sadhaka, how can we make our life blessed? And through that, where should we heading? Right? That will be pointed out. Now let us see the first verse. If you have the book, I encourage all of you to repeat. Tadjnanam prashamakaram yadindriyanam
Tadjnanam prashamakaram yadindriyanam
Tadneyam yadupanishad sunishchitartham
Tadneyam yadupanishadsu nishchitartham
Tadneyam yadupanishad sunishchitartham
Tadneyam yadupanishadsu nishchitartham
Te dhanya bhuvi paramartha nishchiteha
Te dhanya bhuvi paramartha nishchiteha
Sheshastu brahmanilaye paribhramantah
Sheshastu brahmanilaye paribhramantah.
Together. Tadjnanam prashamakaram yadindriyanam Tadneyam yadupanishad sunishchitartham Te dhanya bhuvi paramartha nishchiteha Sheshastu brahmanilaye paribhramantah. First we will just see the literal meaning of the verse and then go word by word. Those who have 3 things are blessed. In the shloka it is said, those who have these 3 things, they are blessed. What are those 3 things? First one is Nyanam. Those who have Jnanam, they are blessed. What is the nature of that Jnanam? There is no better definition of Jnanam that I have found other than this line. Very, very precise, very practical. Knowledge is that which quietens our senses. Tad Nyanam Prashamakaram Yadindriyanam. So with senses, we have to also include mind. Knowledge is that which quietens the mind. Second was Neyam. Those who have a goal. Niyam means that which should be known. Those who have clarity about that, they are blessed. So what is Neyam? Yat Upanishad Sunishchitartham. You can split there also, but a better reading is Yat Upanishad Sunishchitartham. That knowledge which has been very well ascertained in the Upanishad, those who have that knowledge as their goal. Neyam means that. Jnanam means having had that knowledge, mind becomes quiet. Okay. First two lines. First line was Jnanam. Second was Neyam. Third line is Te Dhanyaha Bhuvi Paramartha Nishchita Iha. They are blessed who live in this world, transact in this world in the light of that knowledge. One is they have the goal of Upanishad Artha, knowledge has taken place, and their Vyavahara is in the light of this knowledge. Bhuvi Paramartha Nishchita Ihaha. Paramartha Nishchita means that supreme knowledge is very clear in their mind, and Iha means transactions, Vyavahara. So Vyavahara happens in the light of that knowledge. So those who have these three things, they are blessed. Jnanam, Neyam and Iha. Okay, Jnanam, Neyam and Iha. What about the rest? Sheshastu Brahmanilaye Paribhramantaha. The rest of them are going in a maze. Maze which will confuse them and make them get lost. You know how a maze is, right? You go inside and you feel like you'll come out. You say, if somebody says, do you need help? You say, no, I know my way out. Only to find that this is another wall. Right? You feel like you've gotten out, but one is unable to come out of it. So that is this Brahmanilaya. Bhagavan says this world is like Brahmanilaya. If we don't have the right goal, if we don't have the right knowledge, and if our transactions are not in the light of that knowledge, then we are going around in this Brahmanilaya. Such a beautiful way of expressing the same idea. Now let us see line by line, word by word, what does it mean? Tad Jnanam Prashamakaram Yadindriyana. So first line was, what is true knowledge? Knowledge is that which quietens this mind and sense organs. In Chandogya Upanishad, one example is given of a bird. 6th chapter of Chandogya. Yatha Shakunihi Disham Disham Pratitva Anyatra Ayatanam Alabdva Bandham Eva Upashrayate. Bandhanam Eva Upashrayate. When this mind is like a bird, throughout waking state, it flies from one branch to another branch. Means from one object to another object, from one experience to another experience, trying to seek Sukham. But finally, it has to come back to its own Swarupa, which is Atma. That is where it finds rest. Means in deep sleep, no matter where this mind goes, it has to come back to this Chaitanya only to find rest. That's why deep sleep is such a joy-giving state. Bhagwan's Karuna it is. He said, even without lot of sadhana, without lot of tapasya, I will keep one state where effortlessly we can go and get rejuvenated. Right? So that is this mind. Example over there is a bird which is put on a ship, and it's in the middle of the water. No matter how much it flies, it cannot find any place to land. It has to come back to the ship. Like that, it is said, this mind is like a bird which goes in several places trying to seek Ananda. And only place where it can get is over here. Over here means in Atma. In that knowledge. So that is true knowledge. In general, what is our understanding of what is Jnanam? Jnanam, some might understand it as knowing many things. I know Upanishads also, I know Bhagavad Gita also, I know Brahma Sutra also. He says that is Jnanam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says no. After having studied that Jnanam, has it quietened our mind or not? Right? If after everything, I still feel I am Jiva, I still feel Jagat is Satyam, and there is Ananda in this world, he says knowledge has not taken place. We might say, I am Atma, I am Brahma. So Mahatmaji would say, we are just using synonyms. Meaning of that word has not clicked yet. The example he would give is, if there is a child, and you ask the child, what is nose? And the child keeps saying, that which is in between both the eyes is nose. That which is above the mouth is nose. That which is below the forehead is nose. He says, unless he takes his finger and says, this is nose, there is a doubt whether he has actually understood what is nose. He is using synonyms. And he would say, we also use synonyms sometimes. What is Atma? Atma is Brahma. What is Brahma? Some other word we will use, Ananda Swarupa. But unless it comes to Aham, and we say, I am that Brahma, and whatever is Brahmalakshana, that is my Lakshana. What is Brahmalakshana? Brahma is Jagat Karanam. We should be confidently able to say, I am Jagat Karanam. If there is a doubt, then we are mixing some conditioning in I. Either we are mixing physical body in I, or we are mixing up mind in I, or this ahankara in I. That is why it again becomes finite. And then, that statement becomes little difficult to digest. How can I be Jagat Karanam? Right? I am part of Jagat. This body is part of Jagat. Mind is part of Jagat. Chaitanya is substratum of Jagat. It is not part of Jagat. And what is the nature of that Chaitanya? We say that Chaitanya is Ananda Swarupa. There is no finitude in it. That is why we don't have to seek it anywhere outside. What do we not have to seek outside? Ananda. Tad Jnanam prashamakaram yatindriyanam. In this way, when somebody has reflected on this knowledge, abided in Ananda Swarupa Atma, that will quieten mind and sense organs. In Bhagavatam, there is one Prasang of Prahladji. All of you know the story of Prahladji, right? It is said Prahladji's teachers were Shanda and Amarka. They were the sons of Shukracharyaji. Asuras, in their lineage, they also have Guru Parampara. Shukracharyaji is their teacher, and his sons were Shanda and Amarka. And they would teach political science to Prahladji. A small boy, It's an elaborate topic actually. In Charvak Darshan, it is said political science is one of the main topic one should study. And you know who is the founder of Charvak Darshan, right? Either we say Brahaspatiji or you say Virochana. Virochana was king of Asuras. So the point is, they would teach him political science. And they would ask him, how are you feeling about this, subject? Even Hiranyakashipu, his father would ask him, how are you feeling about what your teachers are teaching you? He says, Father, I can repeat everything, but in my heart, I don't feel content studying this knowledge. Hiranyakashipu asks why. He says, because they are teaching me I am different and people around you are different. It is teaching with differences. It is not telling me about my true nature. That is this thought. What is, now contrast this Jnanam with other Jnanam. What was Vedanta Jnanam? Tad Jnanam prashamakaram yadindriyanam. Now what is other knowledge? Other knowledge is that which will keep us as Jiva. And as Jiva, it will want us to adjust some things to get Ananda. So Prahladji says, that is what I don't like. Now we are not saying one should not study political science. Don't take that meaning. The thing is, true contentment cannot come only with secular knowledge. That is the main point. In Chandogya Upanishad, 7th chapter, the student is Naradji. 7th chapter. One day he is looking little low, he's looking sad. His brothers come, Sanat Kumaras come and ask him, why are you so sad today? So, Naradji gives his qualifications. He has around 21 types of Vidyas. He knows all the Vedas, he knows Vyakaranam, he knows Bhuta Vidya, Sarpa Vidya, Gandharva Vidya, Ayurveda, all types of knowledge he knows. But one line he says, Soham Bhagavo Shochami. Means in spite of having all this knowledge, my agitations of the mind have not gone away. Can you teach me something? And he says, I know only words. Even of Upanishads, even of Vedas, I know only words. Can you teach me what is the real, knowledge? So from that, the teaching of 7th chapter begins. Different upasanas are given. Different teachings of Vedanta is given. But what is the main point? If you want mind to be quietened, then the knowledge is only of Mahavakya, knowledge is of Vedanta. Our understanding of I, that I has to change. Okay? That is this Jnanam. Now second line, Tad Jneyam Yad Upanishad Sunishchitartham. What is Jneyam? What is it that should be known? The essence of Upanishad, that is the only thing which has to be known. Upanishad Sunishchita Artham. Have you discussed about Pramanas in any of the previous classes? Praman Vichara? Pramana means it has to be something which is a valid means of knowledge. So for a particular thing, there will be only one valid means of knowledge. Okay? So whether this water is hot or not, no matter how much I look at it, I will not be able to figure out. Even if I smell the water, I will not be able to know whether it is warm or not. So what is the valid means of knowledge? Touch. Touch. Pratyaksha includes all five. Eyes are also pratyaksha, ears are also pratyaksha, nose is also pratyaksha, touch is also pratyaksha. So if I am able to touch it, that is my only way of getting that knowledge. So in the same way, to know our infinitude, Upanishads are valid means of knowledge. That I am not a Jiva, I am Brahma. For that, there is no other means of knowledge other than Upanishads. So somebody who has come to Upanishads and systematically studied it, then only Artha becomes Nishchita. Otherwise there is a lot of back and forth. I have heard I am Brahma, but I don't feel it that way. He said there is no feeling involved here because it is pramana. Right? Knowledge implementing in life, that is part of, how much we abide in this knowledge, how much we reflect upon it. So that is a different category. But when we say, I don't feel I am Brahma, so there Vedanta has an objection. Vedanta says, to feel, it has to be an object. If I am the subject and I myself am Brahma, how am I going to feel Brahma? So then what is Vedanta's way of, realization? What is the Sunishtita Artham? We say, listen to Mahavakya, and in Mahavakya, remove whatever is erroneously included in Aham. Aham means I. Right? Whenever I say the word I, where does it land? Sometimes it will land on physical body, right? With which we will say, I am man, I am woman. All other indicators will be there. So this I is landing on physical body. If we are little bit more thinking, I might land on this mind. If mind is agitated, what is the statement we make? I am agitated. Mind became calm. What is the statement we make? I am calm. Mind is having sadgunas. What is the statement we make? I am sadguni. Right? So like this I will land on several things which are part of anatma only. Body is part of anatma, mind is part of anatma. So according to Upanishad, what is the true meaning of I? Shuddha Chaitanya. That pure consciousness, that is the true meaning of I. So those who have gained this conviction, those who have understood this conviction, Bhagavan says, they are blessed. Moksha means not getting something. What is the dhatu for moksha? Much. Much means to let go. Right? So mukti or moksha means to let go. Let go of what? Let go of erroneous things which I have already taken up upon myself. Sometimes you hear the statement, right? I don't want moksha. So Mahatma says, who is giving you moksha? Because moksha is not, something to be gained, it has to be let gone of. So that is this Paramartha. Tad niyam yad upanishadsu nishchita artham. Those who have gained this firm conviction in this Upanishadic teaching. Puja Gurudev used to give a very nice example for this. He would say, our shoes, if it is one size small, and we are trying to fit in that, one size small shoe, you see how uncomfortable it is, even to walk, even to wear it. He would say like that, this infinite Brahma is thinking itself to be this finite body. Infinite Brahma has gotten into this finite body and it is trying to become infinite through this physical body. Become infinite means what? Through objects, through other experiences. This is like that is our, journey. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his best example was, somebody came and said, Swamiji, I want moksha. Can you give it to me? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa goes and, hugs a pole. He hugs it and says, let me go, let me go, let me go. Other person says, Swamiji, who is holding you? You are holding on to the pole and you are telling the pole, let me go. This is just like that is our condition. Nobody is stopping us from letting go of this physical conditioning. Identification. Literally we cannot let go. Nobody is stopping us from dissociating from mind. But if somebody goes and holds on to it and then says, I am bound. So our condition is like that person. Holding on to the pole and trying to say, I want to be free. Okay. Now the third one is te dhanyaha bhuvi paramartha nishchita ihaha. So there are two ways to look at it. One is those who do transactions in the light of this knowledge. In the light of this knowledge that I am Brahma, there is nothing to be accomplished for them in this world. What Bhagavan calls as Loka Sangraha. In Bhagavad Gita, he uses that word, right? So those who live in this world with that insight, they are Dhanya. But another way to look at it is, those who do their Vyavahara in such a way that knowledge of Paramartha becomes clear to them. Both ways. One is Siddha Mahatmas. That's why I said Dhanyata will be spoken at two levels, Sadhaka level and Siddha level. So for Siddha Purusha, how will you interpret this line? Te dhanyaha bhuvi paramartha nishchita ihaha. Means having understood this knowledge, all their transactions are in the light of this knowledge. For Sadhaka, how will we interpret? They do their transactions in such a way that knowledge becomes clear to them. They will not get carried away by anything. Or even other, Vyavahara, whichever is done, they will keep their mind such that it is very easy to bring it back and focus on Vedanta. Right? When we were studying, Swamiji would tell us, your success of Vyavahara is, in that 1 hour of class, if your mind can be focused. Means other 23 hours, whatever you do, it should be such that in that 1 hour, there is no other distraction. That is, the way to look at this sadhana. Those who are able to do it, Bhagavan says, te dhanyaha. Otherwise, what is the other side? Means mind goes into Vyavahara in such a way that it doesn't take much time to lose our value for spirituality, our own ability to dwell on subtle topics, our own interest for Shravanam. Right? Vyavahara has that power. If one is not alert, the value that we have accumulated through several years of sadhana, satsang and everything, it doesn't take much time to fall apart. Right? So those who are able to do it in a very seamless way, te dhanya. There are a few more things which we can reflect on this verse, but let me pause here. If there are any questions, you can type it in the chat, or even in person you can ask. We can have some interaction also. Otherwise, early morning, I've been speaking for a long time. You might feel it's one-sided. You can type it in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, you can raise and just ask it. Related to Vedanta. Question related to Vedanta. Any topic. What is it?
Audio is low.
Which audio?
Your audio to Zoom. You can ask them if they are able to hear you.
Are you all able to hear me? Is my audio low? Now we should be able to unmute. Just a minute. You should be able to unmute. Is my audio audible to all of you? Audio was a little low. Okay. How do we increase it?
We'll use the lapel mic.
Lapel mic. Okay. All right. Any questions? You can type it in the chat or ask. If not,
Sohamji, can you hear me, Sohamji?
yes. Welcome.
The question I have, this is the first time I heard the term that moksha is let go. We talk about that we are doing this spiritual sadhana to gain moksha, and this is the first time I heard that we have to moksha means let go. Can you please elaborate?
Right. This definition of moksha is actually from Bhagavatam. When Shukdevji Maharaj is asked, what is mukti? Shukdevji Maharaj says, muktim hitva anyatha rupam swaswarupena vyavasthiti. Means what is moksha? Letting go of something which is erroneously included in aham. That itself is moksha. Means in Vedanta we say, what is bondage should be very clear first. What is bondage? Ignorance itself is bondage. And the best example given is of a necklace. Very thin necklace is there, kanta chami kara nyaya. And that necklace has gone behind for some reason. And this person is searching all over. So how will he gain that necklace? He doesn't have to gain it. He just has to let go of erroneous understanding. That itself is gaining the necklace. Or another best example is Dashamas Thomasi, the 10th man. There are 10 people, and the 10th man feels that the 10th man has drowned. And there's so much of sorrow, so much of lamenting. So now what is, moksha? What is moksha for the 10th man? Is it just letting go of erroneous notion, this clear knowledge that 10th man is already attained. That is who I am. I don't have to go and get, that 10th man from somewhere. So over here also in Vedanta we say, we are Brahma to begin with. We will not become Brahma someday. We will not become infinite someday. So what is the path? The path is to do sadhana, purify this mind, and come to Shravanam, gain this knowledge. So purity of mind has to be gained. Purity of mind is not already siddha. For that we have to do sadhana. Right? And it will also not happen naturally. Right? So we have to put forth effort, we have to do that sadhana. And when we come to Vedanta, Vedanta will just reveal to us that our nature is not even this pure mind, our nature is pure consciousness. So what have we done for mukti? Just let go of things which were included in aham. But Bhagavan is going to point out here in Dhanyashtakam also, he says first we have to let go of outside koshas. We have pancha kosha viveka, right? But there are koshas outside first, which we have to, reduce our dependence on, have the healthy perspective towards them. Then only we can start pancha kosha viveka. So that is the gradation. Muktim hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. Bhagavatam, this is the definition of moksha. Good. Hari Om Premaji. Kshama.
Third line, Swamiji. One interpretation Swamiji explained is to interpret it as people who transact in this world in the light of knowledge. And the second one, I didn't quite get. Alternate interpretation.
Those who do, the question is, what are the two interpretations of the third line? Te dhanyaha bhuvi paramartha nishchita ihaha. So one interpretation is, those who do their transactions in the light of this knowledge. So they are Siddha Mahatmas. Somebody like Taponji Maharaj, Puja Gurudev. Even when they are amidst people, even when they are amidst all Vyavahara, this knowledge is not lost that Jagat is Mithya. Aham Brahma, but most importantly, Jagat Mithya. Now second category is Sadhaka. So for Sadhaka, this knowledge is not established yet. Right? Knowledge has not taken full roots yet. So for sadhaka, vyavahara should be such that paramartha jnanam becomes easy to grasp. Our mind is such, it can absorb and recollect easily when it is calm. The main shatru of recollection is krodha or some kind of agitation in the mind. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate, then kamaha, slow, kamat krodho bijayate, then sammoha, and only that much. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Just take that verse for reflection. From krodha comes delusion. From delusion comes loss of memory. Smriti vibhramaha. Whatever knowledge we have gained, whatever, adhyatma, things which are there in the mind, all value systems which are there, it is as though forgotten. So those who are able to keep their mind in such a way that this knowledge doesn't get forgotten, and they are able to reflect more on this knowledge. So they are dhanya. And that is our responsibility, as sadhaka, to make sure that what kind of conversations we should have, what kind of conversation we should stay away from, what kind of company we should keep, what kind of company we should stay away from. We are so particular with allergies, right, for physical body. If somebody has allergy for peanut, we don't say little bit of peanut is okay. We say no means no. Why? Because the harm done to physical body, we have to go through. Like that, sadhaka is alert for mind. Anything which is understood disturbs this mind or makes it more impure. Any conversation it could be, any company it could be. So there the sadhaka keeps distance. Nowadays with social media and everything, it's so difficult to draw that line. But we have to, look at it from a more deeper perspective. We are sadhakas, that is what we are looking for. Paramartha we need, so mind has to be ready for that. Okay. Good. Online, everybody okay? Tomorrow we'll try to work on the sound also, but hopefully you are able to listen. Okay. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om everyone.